Here we have Bubba Watson, the long-hitting left-hander from the USA, 2012 US Masters winner, along with 3 other PGA Tour wins. Now, Bubba Watson is a tall guy, 6'3", he's 180 pounds, so he's tall and slim and athletic, would be good at basically any sport he chose to play. And Bubba's really come into form the last 3 to 4 years. Now, this is a golf swing that he claims to have never had a golf lesson. He plays a lot by feel. His golf swing tends to change from time to time. He has a variety of different follow-throughs depending on the type of shot he's trying to hit. He, as I said earlier, one of the longest hitters in the world of professional golf, but he has a lot of curve on his golf ball. He likes to play a fade as much as he can, which is a right to left for Bubba, and he'll hit that thing, carry that over 300 yards regularly. His average driving distance is around 315 to 320 yards off the tee. You'll notice here he has a pink head and a pink shaft that kind of goes into some of his charity work he does, and also kind of perfectly captures Bubba's personality. He's a very outgoing, popular player, and one of these other great golfers with a very unique golf swing, and just love to watch Bubba when he's playing well. The most obvious thing in Bubba's setup is that he's got a very strong top hand, which is a right hand for Bubba. You'll notice he has a relatively narrow stance given that he's using a driver. The ball position with the driver here appears to be back in his stance again. This is not the case. It's just we've got a camera angle that's a little bit too far forward. His ball position would be really more up, just inside his left heel somewhere. Looking from the down the line view, now Bubba obviously here is going to play a pretty big fade, so the camera is a little bit too far behind him due to the fact that he's aiming so far to the right, trying to hit that big fade that he likes to hit. And you'll notice in Bubba's takeaway, talk about trying to create width. Well, this is what width is, people. This is extremely wide in the takeaway. The lead arm, Bubba's right arm, and the club shaft is very wide in the takeaway, which is all very nice. You see the club head and the arm sort of move up very quickly in the backswing. He gets a lot of width, and he also gets that club head, out and up very quickly in the backswing. Club face is a little closed, as you might expect, given the way he holds on to the club with his top hand, which is very strong. Where this gets interesting though is he gets towards the top of his swing, still very wide. Okay, kind of a late hinging of the lead wrist to the top, and this is certainly a very long backswing. This is reminiscent of John Daly at his best. Club shaft gets well past parallel. You see the front foot, the heel of the front foot is well off the ground. That's not common to see these days. You see the lead leg, Bubba's right leg, is really kicked in here quite a lot. The knees are actually quite close together. Again, things you don't commonly see. Bubba's also a player who has a tremendous, very big turn of the upper body, and just a very unique position to see a top player in, certainly in a modern game. From the down the line view, as he completes that backswing, you see a very upright shaft at this point. Getting to that top of the backswing, club face is a little bit sharp but pretty close to square. So a very high hand position here as well above his head. The lead arm very upright, the trail elbow very high. Right leg is kind of straightened out pretty well. It's not as bent as a lot of players would like it to be. Now let's watch this downswing move of Bubba. You'll notice the first thing is he drives that front foot back into the ground, so the heel goes down. You can see that lead knee move out towards the target, and that's really what starts his whole transition into the downswing. So the lead foot heel drives into the ground, the knee will drive out, You see a lot more width in between the knees now than what he had at the top of his backswing. So he plants that foot back into the ground. That activates his hips to start moving, followed by his chest, and of course his arms. We all know that's the proper sequence they're looking for. Tremendous lag between the lead arm and the shaft. So whilst he went back very wide, he's coming down much more narrow than he went back, and that's one of the reasons he creates so much leverage and so much speed through the golf ball. Take a look also where his left, sorry, his right, the lead leg and hip, how much more forward they are than where they started from. And taking a look at that move from the down the line view, you'll see his head is sort of quite a bit lower than where it started from. The club shaft kind of reroutes into a really good position here, so it's actually really nicely on plane as he's coming down to hit the golf ball. See a tremendous clearing of the hips. His hips are very open, and you'll see his belt buckle sort of elevating through to impact. And you'll notice something very interesting from the face-on view, and this is something Bubba Watson does a lot, especially with his driver when he's hitting it hard. He's elevating himself off the ground. So at this point, his front foot is actually spinning and rotating in the air. So Bubba, at times, and this one appears to be the case, he really has almost no contact with the ground. And you actually see this when you look at the long driving champions, the Jason Zubacks and some of these long guys. They often are actually leaving the ground through the golf ball. It's a pretty amazing thing to see. You know, everyone's talking about the weight should be in that left, sorry, of course for Bubba, the front leg's the right leg, in the front leg. But I would say Bubba's weight is up in the air through impact. Now obviously this is not something you'd want to go out today and try. This is something that Bubba's doing as a reaction to something else, but it's not something that's completely unique to Bubba. His footwork is very unusual at times. You see him get into some sort of funny positions, and his follow-through can change dramatically depending on how he's playing and what type of shot he's trying to hit. But a guy who can create 125 miles an hour of club head speed and 185 miles an hour of ball speed and can hit it over 320 yards regularly, knows what he's doing. Perhaps not one of the most consistent players, obviously with a swing like this and so much speed, consistency is probably going to be sacrificed, but just an extremely talented player, one who's a hard worker, and I'm sure we'll have many more successes to come in the future. And like I said before in previous swing analysis, I just like seeing golf swings that are a little unique. The players has worked so hard for so many years and has just found a way to make it work. And Bubba's claim of never having a golf lesson, well, I'm sure he probably hasn't, but I'm sure he's had some help along the way. Whether that's what is right for the average player, to not have lessons, probably not a good thing, but anyway, there we have it. Bubba Watson, just a fantastic golf swing, very popular player among his peers, and just a thing to really admire. Okay, there we have it. Thank you.